Hey everybody, hold on here. I'm gonna get some lighting here in a second. Seeing if anybody's in there. Anybody's watching. Okay. Alright. Hey everybody. A little bit better lighting. This is CJ. I'm doing a Facebook Live feed here as I'm working, driving here doing the JOB. First of all, I wanted to say hello to all my friends, group members, whatever. Just doing this on my own wall here, my own page. Just to talk about a couple things. I've been in ACH group and pretty active in Facebook with ACH pretty much from the beginning. Back in, I think I started monitoring the group in maybe it was late June or something of 17, and been there since pretty much the beginning when Willie created the group and all that, along with his team. And first of all, I wanted to, secondly, I guess, first of all, hello everybody. Secondly, I just wanted to talk about a couple things. I wanted to also welcome you folks to my new platform is at crestamedia.net, C-R-E-S-T-A media, crestamedia.net. That's my new platform. And the reason I mention that is not necessarily trying to bump you over to that or sell that to you, but I'm just getting tired of Facebook censorship and monitoring and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to create my own platform that I pay for, that I'm building it out here. The second week of building here. So the reason I went to the platform is because of the censorship and the monitoring and the games that Facebook seems to like to play on people that get popular or have a lot of hits or a lot of participation. And so I'm eventually going to move totally away from Facebook, especially with the ACH group, because I know there's way too much trolling and probably agents in that group. So I'm eventually going to probably move away from Facebook totally. But there's a couple things here that I want to talk about real quick, or as quickly as I think I can here. Anybody else in the group here? I see Martha's here. Hi, Martha. And I want to talk about a couple things here. I had a conversation with a group member today regarding private and regarding changing status. And initially I wasn't sure exactly what that member was referring to, but public and private is what it came down to. And so many people are so tired of living as slaves and debtors, and that's, I think, what the majority of folks in ACH and other groups like Secured Party Creditors and Tactical Sovereignty and all that kind of stuff, those groups are folks that are just kind of tired of the mix and being a debtor and finding out who they are and what their status is. And all those kind of things are very important to a lot of people. And it's really fantastic to see that a lot of people are becoming very awake about the system and the matrix and the cabal. and everything else that's been going on. So, with that being said, the issue of private status versus public status, being a debtor, vice a creditor, I think most people that are watching probably have an idea of what that's at least fundamentally about, with birth certificates and trust accounts and everything else. So the conversation point I had with someone today regarding that status was along the lines of how do I get out of the matrix? How do I do this? How do I do that? What I have found over time. Oh wow! Sorry, folks. I got to be careful right now. I'm going right by a car fire on the interstate. Wow, this is crazy. Sorry, folks. Wow, that car is fully engulfed. Wow. Sorry, I can't show it to you. Maybe you can see the flames in the background as I'm going by here. Wow. I'm sure you can see the red lights. Sorry. Maybe you can see the flames. I don't know. It's pretty engulfed. Wow. So, as far as private and public status, what I've found has worked, and I've kind of been in this game since about 1998, when I first challenged the IRS on certain procedures and taxes they were taking and this and that. I was in a business at the time, and I started my journey challenging, something just doesn't look right here. Why is this so intimidating? Why is this so, why is it such a problem? Why is it such a burden? And that's where my journey started. And that's when I started questioning. One of my favorite phrases is question everything with boldness. And that's where I started my journey. And I went off on a journey into looking into tax freedom movements, tax protester movements. I probably spent upwards of probably $2,000 or $3,000 on buying packages and going to events and talking to patriot groups and all this other kind of stuff. And it was pretty enlightening. It was pretty enlightening, and I learned a lot of stuff. I got to speak with a lot of people that have, at that point, were doing it a lot longer than I was. A lot longer in research, a lot longer in studying, a lot longer in deciphering things. So I've been in the game a long time. And what I found out over the years in challenging things, whether it be the IRS or state tax agencies or permit, code enforcers, law enforcement, whoever else. I've had a lot of interactions over almost 20 years in this fight, in this mission, I'll call it. What I found was that debt was one of the biggest reins on my person, on my entity, as a natural living, breathing human being. One of the biggest chains on me was debt. And if I can impart one of the most important points of what I'm saying now is debt. And for those that know, debt becomes a problem or becomes an issue because you created the contract, you signed a contract for service, you signed a mortgage loan, you signed promissory notes, you did all those kind of things. And unknowingly, not necessarily through your own fault, but unknowingly, you inked those debts. You created them because you thought that's how the system worked and how it was done and what you were supposed to do. And you were supposed to get a driver's license, and you're supposed to get car insurance, and you're supposed to sign a loan, a mortgage loan at the bank. You're supposed to do all these things because that's what your parents did, or that's what your brother or your sister did, or whatever. Well, for those of you that know or have been around or been researching a little while, you know it's all fraud, and um, that's the way it is. There's a lot more to that statement, as I'm sure a lot of you know. However, um, over the years, it's taken me years and years and years to get essentially pretty much debt free in my life, and um, my friends that know me and members of groups and this and that I've talked to over time, and you've seen my comments and a lot of my posts. I have made the statement that I'm not afraid of my mailbox anymore. Um, and I used to be really afraid to go check my mailbox. I used to be afraid to do that. But once I got down the railroad tracks for a few years and started learning a lot of things, and starting to become very knowledgeable and very powerful in how I could execute different things in the system, how I could compel performance, and that's a key phrase, compel performance from these entities, public officials, bankers, whatever. Once I learned how to do that, it's very empowering. It's very empowering. It's like a huge 800-pound gorilla off your back, because you learn the system, and then as my friends know, one of my favorite phrases is use the tools that are there, but use their own tools out of their own toolboxes against them. Um, and that's what I've kind of learned how to do over the years. And it's when you know what you're doing, when you get to a certain confidence level and you know what you're doing, it's very empowering when you can compel performance, because all your life you've been compelled to perform by the authorities, by the banksters, by the fraudsters, by your state tax agencies, by the IRS. You've been compelled to perform, um, and that is one of the keys to your unprosperity, if you will, in life. It's being compelled to perform and not knowing how to say, "Hey, wait a minute, that doesn't look right to me. That doesn't make sense. I have some questions," and that's where the question with boldness comes in. And I would recommend to anybody that's watching or watches this later or whatever, learn how to question with boldness. Don't be afraid. Yeah, I was initially afraid. I was initially afraid to jump off that ledge, jump into the deep end of the pool. But I did it, and I did it many times, and I made mistakes, and yeah, I learned a lot. But one of the keys to me now, at the point where I'm at now, and to helping people and contributing, is the fact that, and you've probably seen this from posts that I've made in ACH and this and that, I will share information and I will help people and I will make suggestions, but I'm looking for people who want to make the same kind of journey that I made, and that is to say, you got to be willing to do the work. I know people hate the word getting spoon fed and spoon feeding and all that crap, and but this is not for the lighthearted. If you're going to go down this path and gain your prosperity and gain a dramatic increase in your freedoms and your liberties, freedom from oppression and taxation in a lot of ways, you have to do the work, because I've earned everything I'm saying right now, and I don't say that holding back anything. I've earned it. So, and that's not to beat my chest and say I'm Tarzan or anything, but I've earned it. I've gone down the path. I've gotten whipped a few times, so to speak. I've gotten beaten down a few times. I lived on peanut butter jelly sandwiches and ramen noodles for weeks at a time because I had to figure things out. So when I say I've earned it, I've earned it. So you have to be willing to do the work, and that's one of my biggest pieces of advice to anybody is that you have to dive in. You have to jump off that ledge. If that's not for you, then it's not for you. Then you stay in the shallow end of the pool, and you just keep being oppressed and keep being the subject of their wares. So that's where I'm at. That's what I do. That's what I have done, and so that's just the way it is. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? Anybody that's watching or anybody that has any questions or anything here? I'm driving. I'm on the job, so just thought I would light this up for a little bit. Welcome to everybody that's here. Whatever. It's on my wall, so you can watch it later if you want. It's in my page, my profile, whatever. So once again, I would venture to say that getting back to, I guess, the main point of my presentation here is that you have to be willing to create that balance of at least initially, you have to be willing to create that balance of public and private. If you don't choose to do that, if you don't start formulating a plan to eventually move as much of your life, your finances, your dealings in commerce over to the private side, you will forever be a debtor and you'll forever be a slave to the system. I communicated to a member today that I'm probably along the lines of about 85% private and about 15% public now at this point in my life. And again, it has taken me years to do. Being debt-free is a big part of it. So you have to have a mindset, you have to have a shift. And I've said this to other members and other groups, my friends, that, when you wake up in the morning, every day you're conducting the business of self, SELF, business of self. For a second, sorry guys. When you wake up in the morning and you have to have a mindset of that you're conducting a business of self, and you have to look at how are you going to interact with anybody that involves anything that's attached to you in commerce, in private affairs. You have to have a mindset of whether you're conducting private business or whether you're conducting public business. You have to have a mindset shift. And that's not just, I'll do it for 2 weeks and see how it works. That's something that you develop over time, but you have to commit to it. If you don't commit to it, then again, you'll be a perpetual slave and a perpetual debtor to the system. So you want to get to a point where you are essentially mostly in the private. Now, on that note, there are so many administrative processes to enhance your approach to go down that road. One of the big ones that's been popular for a long time is called the secured party creditor. Now, you have to do the work. You have to do the research on the secured party creditor process. Not that you would essentially want to be a full-blown secured party creditor, but you have to understand commerce. You have to understand trust law a little bit. You don't have to be a freaking paralegal or an attorney. You don't have to be at that level, but you do have to understand the fundamentals of how commerce is done, how it's regulated, how the banks are regulated, credit unions, whatever, finance houses, how they're regulated, not only with general commerce, but also with the provisions that are there for you. in the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC. Um, Again, this is, hey David, what's up, buddy? So um, the I guess the biggest thing I have to convey to you is that, or one of the biggest things is that these administrative processes are there for you to choose from. Um, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've done every one of the biggest, most popular, trending administrative processes to get where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you I've done that, because that wouldn't be a true statement. But I have been very selective. Again, this is over years and years and years of studying and researching. Um, but there are administrative processes there, and you have to. What's key in that approach is that you have to encircle yourself with like minds. Okay, being in the ACH group, that's a big circle of like minds. That's a huge, and I thank Willie and his team for originally creating the group, because that's a huge learning platform there. You take from it what you can, but there's a lot of good, smart, genuine, integrity-based people in the group that will help. But what I always tell people that are newbies is that if you've got an area or a specialty that you're concerned about, or that you're really unknowledgeable about, that you want to learn about, throw a few questions out there and see what kind of bites you get back, and start a conversation. One of the biggest problems in this country is we don't talk to people anymore. You might find this a little funny, but if I'm at a stoplight, I'm in my car and I'm at my stoplight, I'll roll down my window and say, "Hey man, hey lady, hey man, whatever. How you doing?" And I strike up a 30-second conversation with somebody. People don't talk to anybody anymore. It's one of the biggest fallacies of our society. We don't talk to anybody anymore. And if you're going to go down these paths, whether it's administrative process, whether it's the currency revaluation, global currency reset, whatever that is that floats your boat, that kicks you off, that lights you up, you have to do the work. You have to get out there. You have to question it. You have to seek knowledge and assistance and help from people. Get in that circle of like minds. Book the producer. I hope that answers your question a little bit, regarding where do you start out, what do you do next. That's one of the places to start. Is get out there, get your feet wet. I used to tell my son and his nieces when they were young, and their parents, I used to tell them, let them scrape their knees a little bit. Builds character, gets them a little bit anxious, a little bit afraid to step off the ledge there. But let them get out there, let them make mistakes, let them find things, let them correct themselves, and that's what you have to do. One of the biggest things that's on the horizon, I hope it's really imminent, is the revaluation of currency, the RV, that everybody talks about, and all the intel that comes out periodically, and folks like David in the group that are always pumping out, information. Let there be light, information, stories, arrests of different people, and in the cabal and the powers to be, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's huge. If any of you don't know what NESARA, NESARA is, go Google it, find out what it is. NESARA, and that's a law that was actually supposed to be a huge trigger or a huge kickoff for the revaluation of currencies and global currency reset. GESARA and NESARA. If you don't know what those are, find out. But the RV is huge. Henceforth, this is why you're seeing a lot of the volatility in the world, a lot of things happening, a lot of arrests, a lot of resignations, a lot of all those kind of things. are happening for many, many reasons. If you've been in the ACH group any length of time, especially if you're newer, it can be overwhelming. Everything that you're seeing and hearing. So it's huge. But again, going back to the original start of my conversation here, is your status and standing is extremely important in how you're going to process and handle such an event as the RV, such an event as a global currency reset. There's going to be pandemonium. There's going to be people who have no clue about what's going on. They won't know what the next steps are. They won't have people to ask because straight to the point, they're just lazy and complacent people that have no clue. They don't want to get involved. They just want to pay their taxes, whatever they're going to do, and move on. I'm definitely not in that group, never will be. So, hope folks that are watching or see this later will agree with that. But status and standing, if you're not preparing yourself now to go through administrative processes, to go through periods of where the stock market may get crashed by design. People are going to lose a lot of wealth. They're going to lose a lot of prosperity when a lot of these processes get triggered off and they come down. People are going to be afraid. People are going to be scared because they don't know. They have no preparations. You're going to see a lot of things happening, not only in the United States, but all around the world, that are happening right now. And people are going to be afraid. They're going to be scared. There's going to be pandemonium on probably several levels. If you don't know who you are, here's a quote from probably some of the gurus in the movement, and for a long time, one of their favorite sayings is, if you don't have a plan, if you don't prepare, then you're going to get left in the dust. So if you don't know who you are, if you don't know the provisions of fundamental trust law, fundamental commercial law, being debt free, credit and commerce, if you're not getting yourself well-rounded and learning and researching and doing the work, then get out of the deep end of the pool. Go back to the shallow end, because that's where you'll be when everybody else moves on. Once again, this is a lot longer than I was preparing to be. However, I'm still going to contribute. I'm still going to be out there. Once again, my platform now, my main platform now is CrestaMedia.net. That's CRESTA media, CrestaMedia.net, and that's where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time. Like I say, I've been in ACH for effectively since the beginning of July last year. So in that group, I'm part of several other groups, or in many other groups, collecting data, researching, analyzing. Once again, that's what I do. I hope that's what a lot of you are doing and will continue to do for yourselves, not for anybody else, for yourselves and for people that you care about, people that you love. If you're not doing it, if you're not preparing yourself, if you're not taking those actions, then lead, follow, or get out of my way. That's one of my favorite, and again, one of my favorite sayings: lead, follow, or get out of my way. I'll help you walk down the road. I'll get blisters on my feet with you, but if you ain't going to do the work, then I'm not going to walk with you. So, and that's just straight to the point. I mean, that's not in deference to anybody in particular. It's just do the work. Get out there. Question with boldness. Get out there. Do the work. Dig in. It's the only way you're gonna. It's the only way you're gonna enhance your prosperity. It's the only way you're gonna increase your liberties. It's the only way you're gonna get debt free. And once again, there are a lot of good people, and the ACH group is full of a lot of good people. We had a young lady in there named Portia Bell for a long time, and she was doing really, really great work. Really great work helping people with credit, getting credit reports lined up, and helping people get debt free and all that. And I'm really disappointed she's not here anymore, but she has her reasons, and that's a private matter on her end. But aside from mentioning her name any further, I really respected what she was trying to do for people and helping them along the lines of credit and getting debt free and all that. But she was punching one of those tickets that I talked about already. She was punching one of those big tickets for folks and helping them out. So, Portia, if you're watching or if you hear about the video, I hope you're well. Again, I respect your privacy, and that's your matter. That's your matter that's your space. But I really appreciate what you did for a lot of folks when you were doing it and all that. So, and I guess I've talked about a lot of things here. I hope that I've imparted some kind of knowledge or kickstarted something or help folks along a little bit of ways. I'm going to try to do some more of these videos, a lot more specific videos on my platform at crustymedia.net or within my own page here. You can reach me through the platform. You can reach me through Facebook, obviously, through Messenger and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought I'd come in and discuss that as far as status and standing mainly. Talked about a lot of things, sorry guys, but I wanted to talk about the status and standing. Again, just to kind of recap and summarize a little bit, you want to move your private, your financial affairs, your commerce affairs, your banking, whatever. You want to get as private. It's a balance of public and private. Hopefully it's at some point in your life you'll be 70-30 or 80-20 or something, 80 private, 20 public. Because we still have the system that we have out here, even though it's corrupt as hell and fraudulent as hell and been stealing our birthright and our sweat equity for a very, very, very long time. It's still here, and until it's obliterated or vaporized, we have to have a balance in what it is right now. So that's kind of a summary recap of where we started out. Thanks for watching, folks. I think that's about. I've touched on a lot of things here, but get out there and get your feet wet, and dive in, research, and do the work. Do the work. If you throw something out there that you need help with, like in the ACH group or any other group you're in, whatever, Facebook, and people come at you and say, "Hey, man, what are you thinking? What's on your mind, man? Are you a dumbass or something?" No, don't take it that way. Learn from it. There are no such things as mistakes. There are no mistakes. They're all lessons. Somebody told me that almost probably over 25 years ago. And I had to learn that. There's no such thing as mistakes. There are just lessons. So try not to take things too personal. You're on a mission, remember. You're on a mission to learn and gain knowledge. And most importantly, from that process, from your diligence, from your hard work, you're going to get pretty damn powerful. in your own right, you are going to get powerful, because once things, I use the analogy of the little light bulbs going off over your head. Well, once you get a row of those light bulbs over your head and they start going off and things start clicking and start making sense, you're going to start becoming dangerous. You're going to get pretty powerful. So that's what you got to do. And you don't sit there wasting 4 hours a day watching programming, TV, and propaganda and all that other crap that's on the TV. Yeah, we got to veg sometimes. Yeah, I understand that. But what's more important to you? I'm going to give you my I just thought of this, and I'll throw it out there. I'll give you my 4-step plan that I learned back in, I'm going to say circa 1984. And I was watching a speaker at a business networking conference. And it's very simple, actually. And it's a very simple 4, 5, 6-step plan. And number one is decide what you want. Decide what you want. Number two is decide what you're willing to give up or what you're willing to sacrifice to get what you want. Once again, number two is decide what you're willing to give up or what you may have to sacrifice to get what you want. Number three is develop or make a plan to do that. Number four is probably the most important, because if you do number 1, 2, and 3, and you don't do number 4, it's all worthless. Number 4 is execute that plan. Do it. Get out there and do it. And number 4 is execute the plan. Number 5, I always include number 5. It's called rinse and repeat. Steps 1 through 4. So it's kind of funny a little bit, but yeah, rinse and repeat. So number 1, decide what you want. Number 2, what am I going to give up? What am I going to sacrifice to get what I want? Number 3, I'm going to make a plan to do that. And number 4, I'm going to execute that plan over and over and over again. Henceforth, step number 5, rinse and repeat. So it's been fun, folks. I'll try to make some more videos here, get out there, and I hope I helped somebody. I hope I imparted some knowledge. I hope I motivated somebody or did something or lit somebody up. So, folks, thank you for your time, and I wish everybody well. I'm going to keep contributing, keep doing what I do, and I'll be on my platform. I'm building it out and adding content. If not every day, at least every other day, I'm doing something with it. So, building it out. So, I wish you all well, folks. You can reach me again once through, of course, Facebook, of course. And I have an email posted on my platform at CrestonMedia.net. So I wish you all well. Thanks for listening, and go get it. And best wishes to everybody. Okay, guys? Thanks very much, and I bid you all good night, and keep charging. Keep charging. It's a huge mission. So be well, be safe. Take care, folks. Thanks for watching.